Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to get started. New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig.
Good evening, Democrats. Welcome to Manchester. I'm Mayor Joyce Craig, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the 2020 New Hampshire Democratic Party McIntyre Shaheen dinner. Manchester is a proud city with a proud history. Our story is one of collaboration, determination, and grit. Over the centuries, we've transitioned from an era of textiles to one of technology. It's a place where the same mill buildings in which the first ever Levi jeans were made in the late 1800s are now home to companies working to manufacture human tissue. By working together, embracing new opportunities, and demanding results, Manchester has pushed our city, our state, and our country forward. Our city has boundless potential, and I'm grateful I get to work every day on behalf of our residents. I'm also grateful, like I know all of you are, that the next President of the United States is here with us this evening. Democrats are fortunate. We are fortunate to have such a strong group of presidential candidates, each with their own unique perspective and experience, committed to enacting progressive policies that will lift up all people. And while I'm proud of the progress we've made in Manchester and thankful for the efforts of the Democratic majorities in the state legislature, and grateful for the work Senator Shaheen, Senator Hassan, Congresswoman Custer, and Congressman Pappas are doing on behalf of us in Washington, there's no doubt that we need a president that truly understands the challenges we face and who will work to lift people up rather than tear them down. There's simply too much at stake, too much work to do to heal the divisions of our country and make progress on our shared priorities. No matter who wins on Tuesday, and no matter who wins the Democratic nomination, we must unify and support the Democratic nominee in November. It's upon all of us to work together to be successful in November in order to move our country forward. Again, it's an honor to welcome you to Manchester, and let's get ready to hear from our next president. Thank you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by President of the New Hampshire High School Democrats, Asma Akbar.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
New Hampshire Democrats, I ask you again to please rise for the singing of our national anthem, sung by the New Hampshire Gay Men's Choir. New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage your host for this evening, New Hampshire Democratic Party Chairman Ray Buckley. Welcome.
Years ago, a couple dozen folks got together to raise a couple $100 to start what is the modern-day New Hampshire Democratic Party. Driving here this evening, I couldn't help but think of all those folks that never got to see an event like this, when the Democratic Party was nearly non-existent. So I just want to salute all those who gave so much: Tom and Merle McIntyre, and John King, and Ollie Hewitt, and all of those folks that work in the party as state chair, Joanne Simons, and the state party chairs and leaders that work in the, in the vineyards of the party, literally to just lose in the next elections. Let's give them all a big thank you for everything they did before us. So I've got a question for you. Are you ready to hear from the next president of the United States? Are you sure? Well, in a couple days, the impeached president of the United States is going to be in this very room. And after the 26th election, well, actually every day since the 26th election, Donald Trump has done a lot of trash talking about our ability to defeat him this November. The reality is, the broken promises are really the legacy of both Kristen Sununu and Johnson, and John Sununu. Good Lord, we've been trying to defeat those people forever. And Donald Trump. Their failed leadership, their broken promises. I think it's important, with the thousands of people here, that we send a message so loud. If you could join me in a very enthusiastic respect to Freddie Mercury. We will rock you. Everybody, we will rock you. We will rock you. Do you hear that, Donald Trump? Do you hear that, Kristen Sununu? Do you hear that, whatever banana head the Republicans nominate against Shaheen? In a few minutes, our all-Democratic congressional delegation will be coming out. But we have a few people to acknowledge and say hello to. Our fabulous Vice Chair of the Democratic State Committee, Senator Martha Fuller Clark. Our Secretary, Mike Rigidity. Our Legal Counsel, Bill Christie. Our DNC members, Kathy Sullivan, who is also our former chair. Billy Shaheen, and Joanne Dowdell. We've got a few former chairs here. Michael King, Joe Keefe, Chris Spiro, Ned Helms, and George Bruno. Give them all a big round of applause. Also want to acknowledge that we have former Governor John Lynch, let's say big respect and thank you for everything that you've done for the party over the years, Governor. We have not one, not two, but we have three former members of Congress with us tonight. Congresswoman Carol Shea Porter. You're going to stand up, and we're going to wave to you and applaud. Okay. Congressman Paul Hodes. Congressman Dick Sweat. Our Executive Council majority, who is doing phenomenal work holding back Kristen Nunes' bad appointments, Andrew Valinsky, Deb Pignatelli, Michael Bryans. We've got three former executive councils that deserve our support. The original, Dudley Dudley, Jim Norman, and Colin Van Oster. Give them all a big round of applause. Let's give a big amount of thanks and applause towards our Senate President and the Senate Majority Leader, Senate President Donna Soucy, and Majority Leader Dan Filtis. And the Senate Majority, Senators, stand up. We also have former Senate President Bev Hollingworth with us and Sylvia Larson. Mr. Speaker. Speaker Steve Shurtleff, and every member of the House stand up and get applause. Let's go. We have Mayor Joyce Craig with us, as you saw earlier. Mayor Jim Doncic from Nashua. Mayor Dana Hilliard from Summersworth. You know, I don't know why they wanted to come, but I started getting all these people calling me from all over the country saying, can I come to your dinner? Well, there's a lot of folks from all over the country. The Vice Chair of the DNC, President of the ASDC, the State Committees Association, and the Chair of the Minnesota Democratic Party, Ken Martin. The Secretary of the Democratic National Committee, Jason Ray. We have over 36 state party chairs, vice chairs, executive directors, and DNC members. All of you stand up. Let's give you a big round of applause for everything that you do in your state. We have some special guests, as I think you might have picked up on as you walk around. Senator Chris Coons. Governor Blanchard. Representative Deb Haaland. Now, to those of us who served with her when she was state party chair, she'll still be state chair, Deb Haaland. And Representative Sandy Levin. Michelle Kwan. Lieutenant Governor of Rhode Island, Dan McKee. Representative Mark Pocan. Senator Nina Turner. Michael Moore. And in the home of the Puritan Backroom Ice Cream, we will give a welcome, I guess, to Ben and Jerry. Ben Cohen and Jared Refield. We are so blessed and so happy that so many of you have been here. Also, you know, we put you on the list, but I see the president of the International Association of Firefighters, Carol Shea Porter, is with us as well. So in your program, you you will notice that we present an award called the Dunphy Contreras Award. And it talks a little bit about why we give it and why we named it. This is the 30th year that we presented it. We present it to a New Hampshire Democrat that has done extraordinary efforts in building the Democratic Party. Walter Dunphy and Leo Contreras gave their life to build this party. They never got to see an event like this. So each year we present someone who's done extraordinary work. This year we are very pleased to present the award to somebody who is working every single day to protect voting rights, taking the state to court, taking the Republicans to court, successfully defending us. I'd like to present the 2020 Dunphy Contreras Award to the Legal Counsel of the New Hampshire Democratic Party, William Christie. Bill. When students vote in New Hampshire, it's because of the work that Bill Christie does. Give him a big round of applause.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the party for providing this award. It's when New Hampshire Democrats can vote, we win elections. And the other side knows it, and they do everything they can to stop it, and we do everything to fight back, and that's what we'll keep doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. On with the program.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage from the 1st District of our great state, Congressman Chris Pappas.
Thank you, First in the Nation Democrats. Well, I want to congratulate Chairman Buckley and the staff of the New Hampshire Democratic Party for putting on an amazing event here this evening. So to all the elected Democrats who are out there, thank you for your service, but I particularly want to thank my colleagues in Washington, the best delegation we have, Jean Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, and Annie Custer. They are amazing partners who are focused on getting the job done, and I think you've seen over the last few weeks the courage that they bring to their position, and we can't thank them enough. You know, to all the out-of-towners who might be joining us here tonight, to our friends in organized labor, in the media, the volunteers and activists, I have some colleagues from Congress who are here who are really great from across the country too. But to all those who are here to experience New Hampshire, welcome, and mark your calendars. In 4 years, we will be back here to renominate a Democratic president to a second term. So, your passion is amazing. Thank you. And I want to thank in particular the thousands of people in this arena who chipped in, pitched in, helped out, and powered us to victory in our 2018 congressional election in a tough, tough district. Thank you so much. That work and the work of so many across this country helped flip the majority in the House. And it is delivering real results to the American people. We have passed major legislation to take on big pharma and lower the cost of prescription drugs. We've passed landmark legislation to rein in the power of big money and the special interests and put the power of our democracy back in your hands. And we're taking big steps forward to address the epidemic of gun violence, to protect our environment, and to ensure that everyone who works hard in this country can get ahead and stay ahead. This work is urgent. It can't wait. And people are depending on us to get this right. That's why we're in this fight together. We're in this fight for the veterans I meet each and every day who have put everything on the line for this nation and deserve the best care we can give to them through the VA. We are in this fight for the individual I met in Rochester recently, whose drugs cost $86,000 a year just to stay healthy. And for so many other Americans for whom healthcare is out of reach, healthcare should be a right. And we are in this fight. We are in this fight for the young woman I met in Manchester, an immigrant who is terrified that the Trump administration will tear her family apart. We are in this fight for the young LGBTQ Americans that I meet, who are proud. These young people are proud to see a member of Congress who's like them, but know we have a ways to go to make sure we earn equal rights under the law for each and every American. So we can't make progress for Granite Staters and so many other Americans like them if we don't rise to the challenge in 2020. The eyes of the nation are upon us here in New Hampshire, and we must show we're ready. Ready to cheer on our presidential candidates tonight? Sure. Ready to get out the vote on Tuesday for a record-breaking turnout in the primary? Yes. Ready to cast the first primary ballots of the 2020 nominating contest? Absolutely. But we will squander this moment and let down future generations if we're not ready for what comes next. What happens Tuesday will be something, but what happens after Tuesday is everything. And if we don't stick together, our work will be for nothing. Just like in 2018, this November's election is bigger than any one of us. It's bigger than the personalities or momentary frustrations of this primary process. It's bigger than any differences of opinion we have on how we attain the goals that we all share. It's about whether we can make meaningful progress for people. It's about fundamentally who we are as a nation. And it's about whether the institutions of our democracy will hold. It's about whether we can come together and do what history is counting on us and requiring us to do at this moment. Unite and win. So New Hampshire Democrats, enjoy the evening, enjoy the primary. Let's stand tall, stand strong, stand together in November, and let's unite for victory. Thank you all so much.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage from the 2nd District of our great state, Congresswoman Annie Kuster.
Aren't you just so impressed with my new colleague, Chris Pappas? I love this man. And a very, very special thank you tonight to my extraordinary colleagues, 2 women that I have looked up to my entire life, Senator Jean Shaheen and Maggie Hassan. Thank you for standing up for democracy and justice. I have just a couple of friends to recognize. Thank you, Brad, for being with me. My colleagues, Anthony Brown and Don Beyer, thanks for making the trip. I want to welcome the ambassador to Ireland. This is how we do democracy in America. And I want to welcome an incredible man, my NBFF, Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. It's such an honor to be with you. Let me just tell you, I just spent the day with this man, and he is all heart. It's an honor. I admire your courage. I admire your grace. You are a great American. Thank you. Okay, take a deep breath. Wow, what a week we just had in Washington, I gotta tell you. Monday, the Iowa caucus. Tuesday night, the State of the Union. Wednesday, the verdict on the impeachment trial. I couldn't be more happy to be home right here in New Hampshire because, like all of you, I am so ready to turn the page. Clearly, we need a new approach. When the Trump presidency comes to an end, that sounds good, doesn't it? I'll try it again. When the Trump presidency comes to an end, we will need a leader to heal this country. We will need a leader to put forth bold solutions for the greatest challenges we face. Now, everybody in this room will be working together. That's the good news. More of us than them. So working together, we will build a coalition, just like the people in this room, progressive Democrats, independents, and Republicans who are just fed up with this president. And we will win in November and lead our country to a brighter future for every American. An America that's built on our shared values of decency, integrity, and respect. An America where we all stand together and where there's opportunity for every family to thrive and succeed. Now, November 2020 will be the most important election in my lifetime. And we can agree that we need a candidate with the ideas, the integrity, the energy, and the temperament to win the general election and unite our country to move us toward a brighter future. A future when every American will have access to quality health care that everyone can afford. A future with education and opportunity and higher wages so that every American family can dream big. A future with a carbon-free environment that everyone can enjoy. And a future, just give me 2 seconds, because this one is the most important for all of us. A future that whoever you are, wherever you live, and whoever you love, the future will be bright for you and your family. So it all starts. It all starts. The eyes of the world are upon us. It all starts right here, right now, with the people in this room. And by November, we will all be on the same team, working together to elect a new president. And next January, I look forward to the next Democratic president of the United States moving into the White House with his husband. Thank you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage our good friend, United States Senator Maggie Hassan.
Well, good evening, Democrats. Wow, look at this wonderful full arena in Shaheen country, if you didn't notice. Hey, I am so grateful to be with all of you tonight. A real shout out and thank you to Chairman Ray Buckley and the entire New Hampshire Democratic Party staff for putting together this fantastic event. My husband Tom is here. I want to thank him and my mom Peggy for their support. And I also just want to thank all of our honored guests for being here. Welcome to New Hampshire. It is balmy by our standards, by the way. But mostly, as always, I want to thank New Hampshire Democrats for your commitment to putting our country on a path to a stronger future. So, it's almost time, after months of town halls and tough questions and grassroots organizing, our first in the nation primary arrives on Tuesday. And with the eyes of the nation upon us, Granite Staters are going to prove once again that no one does democracy better than New Hampshire. Now, in a few minutes, you're going to hear from our wonderful candidates. And they are going to talk to you about their policies and their priorities. And of course, about the absolute necessity of defeating Donald Trump in November. And folks, I could not agree more strongly. Tonight, though, I want to talk about another vital 2020 priority called getting Mitch McConnell out of the Senate Majority Leader's office. That is right, folks. That is right, folks. Look, our next president is going to be a Democrat. And a Democratic president can't make progress without a Congress that has their back. And we can't do anything if Mitch McConnell remains Senate Majority Leader. Day after day, Mitch McConnell blocks legislation critical to hardworking Granite Staters and people all across the country. He even takes pride in referring to himself as the legislative Grim Reaper. So here's a few things to think about. Mitch McConnell won't take up bipartisan legislation from the House that would protect Americans with pre-existing conditions. He is blocking the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which passed, that act passed with bipartisan support in the House, along with the Bipartisan Equality Act, which would protect LGBTQ Americans from discrimination. Mitch McConnell won't take action against the existential threat that is climate change, and he is refusing to take up efforts not only by Democrats but also by Republicans to safeguard our elections against foreign interference. And all the while, he is doing everything he can to stack our courts with blatantly partisan and unqualified judges for lifetime appointments. And as you have all seen over the past weeks, right, Mitch McConnell blocked the Senate and all Americans from seeing documents and hearing from witnesses with first-hand information about the president's actions. That is unacceptable. It is indefensible. The Senate Majority Leader should not be a member of the president's legal defense team. So, folks, I am as frustrated by and tired of Mitch McConnell's partisan gridlock in Washington as you are. Well, it is up to all of us to do something. It is on us to turn this around. And that starts with re-electing my friend and our fabulous senior senator, Shaheen. Shaheen fights to get results every day, getting result after result for hardworking Granite Staters. And we absolutely cannot take the majority back without re-electing Shaheen. So we got to do that, and I'm also going to urge everybody here to do what you can, everything you can, to support our strong Democratic candidates for Senate all across the country. It's really, really vital. Now, we also have to do everything we can to keep the House of Representatives blue, which means doing everything we need to do to re-elect my wonderful friends Annie Custard and Chris Pappas. So New Hampshire, we are just days away, and we have lots of work to do before the primary, but then after the primary, together, to have a successful election day, to elect a Democratic president, and to make sure that we keep the House blue and flip the Senate into Democratic control, right? It is a lot of work to be sure. It is a lot of work to be sure, but New Hampshire Democrats, you have proven time and time again that your grassroots energy is a force to be reckoned with. So, keep working, keep organizing, keep standing up for the values that we all hold dear. Because together, we are going to win in November. We are going to build a stronger America, a brighter future for all Americans, and we are going to move closer and closer to that more perfect union that our founders envisioned. Thank you all. Have a great night. Take care.
This is Shaheen country. New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage our own senior senator, United States Senator Jeanne Shaheen.
Thank you all very much. Are you excited or what? Yes! And the candidates are starting to arrive, so we're about ready to get wound up and really tell everybody across this country what New Hampshire is all about, right? What a great crowd. Thank you to Ray Buckley and the New Hampshire Democratic Party for everything you've done to make this event a success, right? Yes. You know, every 4 years, New Hampshire hosts the primary. This is 100 years now of the New Hampshire primary. And people in New Hampshire are excited about all the candidates. They're engaged, they ask tough questions, they invite you into their homes. We got a lot of people here from across the country, right? Who's from outside of New Hampshire? Raise your hand. All right. Well, we want you to come into our homes. We want to treat you right. We love having you here. And the best thing is having the candidates here, right? Now, we may have fierce debates during the New Hampshire primary, but the thing is, we all share the same values. We all believe that every American should have access to affordable health care. that no one should be discriminated against if you have a pre-existing condition. We believe that every family should be able to make a living wage and that women should get equal pay for equal work. We know that climate change is real and that we've got to address it now. And we believe that women should make our own health care choices and our own choices about our reproductive health, right? And we believe that every American, no matter what your ethnic background is, no matter how you identify yourselves, no matter what your gender, no matter where you live or where you came from, that everyone should have an opportunity for a better life and to have the same choices and opportunities for our children and grandchildren that we all had. That's what Democrats stand for. We share those same values. So, Tuesday is the primary. We want a record turnout. And for all the volunteers who have been here, who have worked all week, come here and knocked doors and made phone calls, thank you for what you've done. You are true patriots who believe in democracy. Thank you all. Thank you. For all of the campaign staffers who have had highs and lows, who have worked your hearts out, for those of you who win, we want to give you a great push out of New Hampshire. If your candidate doesn't do as well, you will make friendships and have experiences that you will remember for the rest of your life. I know that because I've done that. And for the candidates, for all of the candidates who have given so many Americans hope at a time when we really need it in this country. Thank you for being here, for sharing with us a vision for what America can be. Any of you who gets elected will be better than the president we have in the White House now. So, after Tuesday, we want to send you all out of New Hampshire with the wind at your backs throughout this nominating contest. And when it's over, when we have a nominee, we have all got to come back together and work our hearts out for that nominee so we can take back the White House. Thank you. Now, I have another responsibility tonight before I leave the stage, because this dinner always honors a Democrat with the McIntyre Shaheen Legacy Award, a Democrat who has contributed to the party here in New Hampshire in an exemplary way. And this year, it's a very special friend of mine who is getting the McIntyre Shaheen Award. It's a woman who I got to serve with in the state Senate. And actually, here to help me give the award is my husband, Billy. My daughter, Stephanie, and her husband, Craig. Stacy and her husband, Ryan. Molly and her husband, Hugh. This award goes to a woman who taught me what it's like to provide real constituent service, who never quit during her time as a state senator, an executive counselor, and a Senate president. She broke the glass ceiling and helped us have women leaders across the state when we had the governor, the Senate president, and the Speaker of the House, who are all women. Please join me in honoring Bev Hollingworth from Hampton, who has done such great things for the Democratic Party for so many years in New Hampshire. Bev.
Oh, thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. I'm so proud to be recognized by my dear friend Jeannie and all of you. Thank you so much. I am just overwhelmed. I had no idea. You're in trouble. She convinced me that this was just going to be here for her and the Democratic Party, which I'm so proud to be part of. Oh, thank you. It's great to see you all. Again, I don't know what else to say except thank you.
Introduce your husband.
I wouldn't be standing here tonight having served in the House and the Senate and in the Governor's Council if it hadn't been for my family who encouraged me to go into politics after many issues that I lost my first husband with leukemia at a very young age, and we felt that the living will legislation was something that was very important at the time. And then he died, unfortunately, at a very young age, and I was very fortunate to find my wonderful husband, Bill Gilligan.
That's it. We'll get a picture.
Oh my.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Shaheen. It's not often you get to speak after someone so respected they named the event after her. Thanks for all the work you and the delegation are doing, Senator Hassan, Congressman Pappas, and my good friend whose support I am so thankful to have, Congresswoman Annie Kuster. Thank you. And thank you, New Hampshire, for welcoming us to this state over the course of the last year. I am here one more time to ask you to join me, not only to end the era of Donald Trump, but to launch the era that must come next. Now, I know some are asking, what business does the South Bend mayor have seeking the highest office in the land? You don't have an office in Washington. You don't have decades of experience in the establishment. The city you're the mayor of isn't even the biggest city in the country. It's more like Manchester, New Hampshire. To which I say that is very much the point. Because Americans in small rural towns, in industrial communities, and yes, in pockets of our country's biggest cities, are tired of being reduced to a punchline by Washington politicians and ready for somebody to take their voice to the American Capitol. And that is how we are going to defeat Donald Trump. How would you like to see a president who cuts taxes for giant corporations have to compete against someone who actually lives in a middle-class neighborhood in the American Midwest and is ready to call him out? How would you like to see a president who likes to cloak himself in religion, this president, have to stand next to someone not afraid to remind fellow believers that God does not belong to a political party in this country? How would you like to see a president who avoided serving when it was his turn have to square off against a war veteran prepared to illustrate why there is nothing patriotic about pardoning war criminals while punishing war heroes? We will beat this president. With a president this disruptive, we cannot run the risk of trying to defeat a fundamentally new challenge by relying on the familiar playbook from before. With a president this divisive, we cannot risk dividing Americans' future further, saying that you must either be for a revolution or you must be for the status quo. Let's make room for everybody in this movement. This is our one shot, our one chance to defeat Donald Trump. And there's an American majority that is unified not just in who we are against, but in what we are for. Because we are for higher wages and the empowerment of workers. We are for honoring our troops by putting an end to endless war. We are for our teachers and prepared to back them up with a Secretary of Education who believes in public education. We are for creating an American experience where your race has no bearing on your health or your wealth or your experience with law enforcement. That is the America we must build together. And we cannot wait any longer. The 10-year-old who asked me what we're going to do so his family can afford insulin cannot wait for us to act to ensure there is no such thing as an uninsured American and no such thing as an unaffordable prescription. The 13-year-old who told me that she asked for a Kevlar backpack for Christmas cannot wait for us to act to protect her school from gun violence. We must act now. I am asking for your support because I believe that the purpose of the presidency is not the glorification of the president. It is the empowerment and the unification of the American people to tackle these big challenges. And my belief in this America is not the product of my age. It's the product of my experience. If you believe in an American future defined by belonging, this is our chance. If you believe in an American politics defined by boldness, this is our chance. If you believe in an American future defined by unity, this is our chance, New Hampshire. New Hampshire on Tuesday, let's make history and let's go on to defeat Donald Trump in November. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Thank you, New Hampshire Democrats. It is so great to be here with all of you and in the state that had the audacity to send not one but two women to the United States Senate in Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen. Thank you so much. You know, New Hampshire, I started my campaign in the middle of a Minnesota blizzard. And there were 4 inches of snow on my head because I wanted to impress New Hampshire. And a lot of people predicted I wouldn't even make it through that speech. But I made it through that speech. And I made it through the summer. And I made it to that debate stage last night. And we have momentum like never before. We have beaten the odds every step of the way. Because we know in our hearts, and I'm speaking to all of the supporters there for all of the candidates right now, we know that what unites us is bigger than what divides us. We know that as a party. We know that. And we know that, yes, this election is an economic check on this president, because people are not sharing in the prosperity across this nation. But we also know that this election is a patriotism check. It is a decency check on this president. And what unites us more than anything is that we know that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of the guy in the White House. We know that. Every one of us knows that. And Donald Trump's nightmare is that our fired up Democrats will march to victory with independents of New Hampshire, right? With people from all over this state, and that we will win big in November. That is his nightmare. So, what will I do? I will pass a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. We will get that done to get the big money out of our politics. What unites us is to stop his shameful attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act and kick people off of their health insurance for pre-existing conditions. That is wrong, and we will stop him. We will take on Big Pharma to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We will take on the NRA to pass gun safety legislation. That is our optimistic agenda for this country. Because we know, as a party, that we are not going to be able to divide the divider-in-chief. We're not going to be able to out-divide him. No, we're not going to be out-dividing someone that actually wakes up every morning and sees who he can take on next, see who he can blame next. Let's see what the list is. He blames Barack Obama, right? He does that all the time. He blames immigrants. He blames the head of the Federal Reserve that he appointed. He blames the generals that he commanded. He blames the entire Kingdom of Denmark. Who does that? He even blamed the Prime Minister of Canada for cutting him out of the Canadian version of Home Alone 2. He does that. He blames people. And what do we have to offer instead? We are a party that brings people with us instead of shutting them out. And you know that is something that I have done. I have won in the rural areas, big time. I have won in the suburban areas. I have won every single election I've ever run back to 4th grade. Now, Democrats, we have to remember that when we bring people with us, that we put someone on the ticket that gets it, that can bring those people back. And you know my background. I am the granddaughter. Exactly. Hi Bernie people. I am the granddaughter of an iron ore miner. I am the daughter of a teacher and a newspaper man. I am the first woman elected to the United States Senate from the state of Minnesota, and I am a candidate for President of the United States. And that is because we live in a country of shared dreams, that no matter where you come from or who you know or where you worship or who you love, that you can make it in the United States of America. I will end with this. I told this story last night as I was spending a lot of time during that impeachment trial thinking. We all spent a lot of time thinking. And I thought of the fact that we got a president that literally thinks he can bulldoze over our democracy, that he can rise above the rule of law, that it doesn't matter to him, that he can decide who gets the American dream. And I thought of that story of FDR. And when he died, they put his body on a train, and people stood spontaneously by the train track to show their respect. And there's a guy standing there, regular guy, sobbing with the hat in his hand. And this reporter says to him, "Sir, did you know the president?" And the guy says, "No, I didn't know the president, but the president knew me." What is missing, Democrats of New Hampshire, with this guy is empathy. What is missing is a sacred trust between this president and the people. And I will tell you this, if you are having trouble deciding you fill your refrigerator or your prescription, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you can't decide between long-term care for your parents or child care for your kids, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you can't decide if you're going to be able to stretch your paycheck to pay the rent, I know you, and I will fight for you. That is how we win this election. Democrats, that is how we win. So I'm asking you to join our fight. I don't have the biggest bank account, if you didn't notice. I'm not the tallest person in the room. But what I've got is grit. The grit you get from a Minnesota blizzard. The grit you get from spending your life, not an easy life, fighting and overcoming adversity. The grit you get when you don't have that perfect birth, when your daughter's born and you get kicked out of the hospital while she's in intensive care, and your first political moment is your life is to pass one of the first bills in the country guaranteeing new moms and their babies a 48-hour hospital stay. That is grit. That is grit. And that is what I bring to this ticket. I picked the color green because it is the color of my political mentor, Paul Wellstone. He brought people with him. I am asking you to come with us. Let's go. Vote. I ask for your vote. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you, everyone.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Vice President Joe Biden.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, New Hampshire. It's great to be here with you tonight. One reason is you know how to run elections. You know how to run primaries. You have an incredible delegation in Jeannie Shaheen and Maggie Hassan and Chris Pappas and Annie Custer. We'll give them a big round of applause. They're one of the best in the country. Folks, I think you all know what's at stake in this election. We all agree on it. We all know that we cannot sustain 4 more years of President Trump as President of the United States of America. We know, the people of New Hampshire know better. Nobody takes your responsibility more serious than you do up here in New Hampshire. You think for yourself. You know our party, and you know your neighbors. I've said many times, America's character is literally on the ballot. You know, we have to act. You know, the man I met in Claremont about, I don't know how many days ago, pulled me aside and said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm losing my job. I don't know how to tell my family. What do I say? What do I do? How do I do it? It was an incredibly emotional situation. And I said, look, I understand. I told him about my dad when he had to make what I call the longest walk up a short flight of stairs to the kid's bedroom to say, Joey, I don't have a job. We got to move. We can't live here anymore. We got to move. And he said, but everything's going to be okay. And he meant it. It took him 3 years moving to Delaware to be able to get us a house to live in. But he was confident to be okay. But how many people today are able to look their children in the eye, faced with that kind of crisis, and say, it's going to be okay? They don't think it's going to be okay because we made it so much harder in this country under this president to, quote, make it okay. Or, not long ago, matter of fact, just a couple hours ago, about 10, 12 hours ago, Jill and I and our grandchildren stood in line in Manchester for food for children. Bitterly cold, 22 degrees, the wind blowing. And you see all these little children. You see them standing in line, huddled, no gloves, freezing to death, waiting to pick up a cardboard box, not able to pick it up, kicking it along the way so they could put bread in it. They could put donuts in it. They could put things that they were able to get for food. In the United States of America, watching women, a woman with barely a sweater on, holding her child tightly, and you could see the tears coming down her eyes as she picked up bread. What kind of bread? The men who came along, unable to lift their heads up and look, just thinking, my God, I thought to myself, this is the United States of America. How can that be happening in the United States of America? Hundreds and hundreds of people in that bitter cold with nothing to look forward to in their minds, just to get a little sustenance. You know, one of the guys walked up and it was so cold, gave me a skull cap. And I thought to myself, why do I have this skull cap? I gave it to one of the kids. Think about it. New Hampshire, the United States of America, a line that lasted and lasted and lasted and lasted, with no hope in sight for these people. This is not the America any of us grew up in, that we believe in. This is not who we are. Or the other day, actually it was about 3 days ago, what happened? I was standing and I was being introduced in Claremont, I believe it was. And a woman, they said, there's a woman going to introduce you. And her name was Chrissy. And she looked at me and she said, I'm going to tell my story. She was a violence against women victim, battered and beaten by her husband. She said she walked out and she was out on the street with a little baby, nowhere to go. Then she picked up a paper And she looked down and she said, I don't know this guy, but he's writing the Violence Against Women Act. He's going to find me a house, find me a home. Well, guess what? Guess what? She said it saved her life, but she had a mental and physical abuse and an impact on her child. But at least she got her off the street. The vast majority of children on the street are there because their mothers are being abused and battered. How many of them are suffering from post-traumatic stress with us doing nothing about it? And the Violence Against Women Act I wrote is sitting in the United States Senate, not being passed today because they want to allow boyfriends who beat up their wives to own guns that kill their spouses. Folks, we got to change this. This is why we're all running, every one of us. This is what this is about. It's not about something else. It's not about the other way. And folks, we're being led by a president who absolutely has no empathy, no sympathy, who mocks people, who makes fun of people with disabilities, who does everything he can to demean. He doesn't have a shred of decency in him. He speaks to women like in such a degrading terms. That's not how we were raised. That's not how you were raised here in New Hampshire. That's not how I was raised. That's not the America any of us know. And it doesn't represent New Hampshire values either. You know, I've lost a lot in my lifetime like a lot of you have. I lost my wife and daughter in an automobile accident. I lost my son to a long bout with brain cancer when he came home from Iraq. But I'll be damned if I'm going to stand by and lose this election to this man. We cannot let it happen. We cannot let it happen. The character of this country is on the ballot. We must defeat Donald Trump. There is no choice. The man has not a shred of decency. So we have to stand up against bigotry, hatred. We have to stand up against the abuse of power. This man derides people. It's time to heal America. And only we, the Democratic Party, can do it, and we must do it now. So stand up, take it back. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Let's go do it now, now, now.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Andrew Yang.
Hello, New Hampshire! It is phenomenal to be here with you tonight, and thank you, Yang Gang. I love campaigning here in New Hampshire for so many reasons, but one reason, I don't know how many of you knew this, I went to high school right here in the state. I graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy in 1992. And it's a thrill to be campaigning here tonight because you all are among the most powerful and influential people in our country today. I know it may not feel like it, but I did the math, New Hampshire. Do you know how many Californians each of you is worth? 1,000 Californians each. So look around this stadium tonight. How many of us are here together? I'm going to give a Trumpian estimate. There are 80,000 people here tonight. It's the biggest crowd anyone has ever seen. There are legitimately 7,000 people here tonight, which is like 7 million Californians in voting power. That's the power you all have to move our country forward and address a challenge, a problem that we have been struggling with for the last several years. And that problem, that challenge is this: why is Donald Trump our president? If you were to turn on cable news, you would think he's our president because of some combination of Russia, racism, Facebook, the FBI, the Electoral College, and on and on. But we know different. I'm a numbers guy in New Hampshire. I was well educated here. And the numbers tell a very clear and direct story as to why Donald Trump is our president today. He is our president because we eliminated 4 million manufacturing jobs in this country in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, Iowa, and it happened here in New Hampshire earlier on. You all lost 12,000 manufacturing jobs in the northern part of the state. And when you go to those towns, after the mill closed, the shopping center closed, people left, the school shrank, and that town has never recovered. The same thing has happened in Missouri, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan. This is why Donald Trump is our president. And this is what we must solve for. We are making a mistake when we act like Donald Trump is the source of all of our problems, New Hampshire. He is not. He is a symptom of a disease that has been building up in our communities for years and decades. So the question is, how do we cure the disease? If you know anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that I'm running for president saying we should give every American $1,000 a month from age 18 until the day they die. And I know this seems like an awfully dramatic policy, but this is not my idea and it's not a new idea. Thomas Paine was for this at the founding of our country. Martin Luther King fought for it in the 60s. Milton Friedman and 1,000 economists endorsed it. It passed the US House twice in '71. And one state actually has a dividend now where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? And how do they pay for it? And what is the oil of the 21st century? Technology, data, AI, self-driving cars and trucks. A study just came out that said that our data, your data, is now worth more than oil. How many of you saw that study? How many of you got your data check in the mail last month? If you didn't get the data check, where did it go? Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, and the trillion-dollar tech companies that are paying nothing or next to nothing back into our country. This is what we must solve for, New Hampshire. We have record high corporate profits in this country right now. What else are at record highs? Suicides, drug overdose, substance abuse, stress, financial insecurity, student loan debt, medical bankruptcy, mental illness, depression. What are at record lows in the United States of America right now? Getting married, having a child, starting a business for a young person. We are following GDP and corporate profits off a cliff, New Hampshire. They're leading us the wrong direction. I know how off base our economic measurements are because of my own family. My wife is at home every day with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic. How much is her work valued at in our market economy? Evelyn gets a 0, as does every other stay-at-home parent in our country. How about caregivers taking care of ailing loved ones? Also 0. How about volunteers and activists trying to make things better in our communities? How about coaches and mentors investing in our kids? How about most artists? And increasingly in New Hampshire, this is a problem you should care deeply about. How about local journalists? It is very, very hard to have a democracy function when people don't actually know what's going on in their community. These are the things we claim to value most in our lives: our children, our families, our community, our democracy, and they're getting zeroed out one by one by one. That is what we must reverse on Tuesday. We have to let our fellow Americans know that economic value and human value are not the same things, and that we each have intrinsic value as Americans, as people, and as owners and shareholders of the richest country in the history of the world. New Hampshire, I am not running for president because I dreamt about being president. Those were not the conversations in the Yang household. My parents were not like, you're going to be president someday. They were more like, you're terrible, go clean your room. I'm running for president because, like so many of you here tonight, I'm a parent and a patriot. I have seen the future that lies ahead for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept for them. They deserve better, and we must give them better starting on Tuesday. New Hampshire, Donald Trump is our president today because he had a very simple, powerful, compelling message for our country. He said he was going to make America great again. What did Hillary Clinton say in response? America is already great. You remember that? That response did not work for many Americans because the problems in our communities are all too real. We have to acknowledge their depth and severity and reality, but then we need real solutions that will actually move our country forward. What were Donald Trump's solutions? Build a wall, turn the clock back, bring the old jobs back. New Hampshire, you know we have to do the opposite of these things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society to rise to the real challenges of the 21st century, like climate change. We have to evolve in the way we see ourselves and our work and our value. I am the ideal candidate for this job, New Hampshire, because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you all very much. Let's make America think harder and move this country forward on Tuesday. Let's give our kids a future we will actually be proud to leave to them. Thank you, New Hampshire. I love you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Tom Steyer.
Hello, you guys. Hello, New Hampshire. Let me start by saying that every single Democrat running remains 1,000,000 times better than the criminal in the White House. And let me say, I know that our rights are being trampled on. We have a right as Americans in the 21st century to affordable health care. We have a right to clean air and clean water. No one gets to poison you with PFAS. We have a right to an equal vote. They can't take it away from college students in New Hampshire anymore. We have a right to a living wage in the United States. $7.25 minimum wage is ridiculous and immoral. And we have a right to quality public education, including universal pre-kindergarten for every kid in the United States. We know that I said last night on TV, Donald Trump can win unless we kick his ass on the economy. If you guys saw the union leader yesterday, he took out a full-page ad. The top of it was, Democrats will kill New Hampshire jobs, and the bottom half was how great he was. we're going to have to kick his ass on the economy and send him home in November. So let me just say, for those of you who don't know me, my mom taught in the New York public schools, and when she retired, she taught the prisoners in the Brooklyn House of Detention. My dad graduated from college at the age of 18. He became a lawyer, he quit the law to go into the Navy, and he ended up prosecuting Nazi war criminals after the war. And you know what he told me? He said, if it ever comes up, start the need to impeach movement to get rid of Donald Trump. When you see something wrong in the United States of America, fight it. I started a business, I built the business, I walked away from the business, I took the giving pledge to give the bulk of my money away while I'm alive to good causes, and for 10 years, I've organized coalitions of working people and union members to beat corporations. And let me tell you this, we've never lost. We beat the oil companies, we beat the tobacco companies, we beat the drug companies, and we beat the utilities. They're just not that smart. We can beat them every time. So, let me say this. That's, as an outsider, what I've done, and as an outsider, I will go and beat those corporations in Washington, D.C. That's why I'm for term limits. 12 years, Congress people and senators. You want bold change, get new and different people in charge. 6 words to argue for term limits. Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz. Term limits. So let me say this. I'm also the only person who's running for president who will say, climate's my #1 priority. It has to be. It has to be. We could end the world, but we can do it in a way that creates 4.5 million good-paying union jobs, the highest percentage of union workers in the United States since 1945, and we start in the black and brown communities that are being poisoned every day through the air and water. We win on climate. But we know Mr. Trump is running on the economy. We have to kick his ass when he lies about the economy. I can do it. 30 years in business, I can do it. When he says the economy's growing, the answer is, but the money's only going to rich people. When he says unemployment's low, the answer is, yes it is, but you can't live on the jobs at $7.25 an hour. When he says the stock market's up, it's like, sure the stock market's up. The rich people own the stock, and in fact it's up because you gave them the biggest tax break in history. We have to kick his ass on the economy, and we have to pull together the gloriously diverse Democratic Party. We don't win unless everybody shows up in November 3rd, 2020, and we outnumber them at the polls. That's how we win. So when we're thinking about where we are right now, when we're looking at who to nominate, we're all better than Mr. Trump by 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000 times. The question is, we should only nominate someone who can kick his ass on the economy, and I can do it, and we've got to pull together this fantastic, diverse party, and I can do it. We have to show up in November 20 and not just beat Trump. We got to get rid of the whole gang that decided impeachment. We're going to break our oath. We're going to ignore the evidence. We're not going to permit witnesses. We're going to do the wrong thing for the Republican Party stays in power. So I'm asking you guys, as Democrats in New Hampshire on Tuesday, let's go show up and kick their ass. That's the job. Kick their ass on Tuesday, kick their ass next month, kick their ass in November. That's the job of Democrats. I can do it. Let's do it.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren.
New Hampshire Democrats, we got 2 jobs. New Hampshire Democrats, we've got 2 jobs in November. First, beat Donald Trump. And second, re-elect Jean Shaheen, take back the Senate and put Mitch McConnell out of a job. We've had 3 years now of Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell. In fact, it was exactly 3 years ago to yesterday that Mitch McConnell pitched me off the floor of the United States Senate for reading a letter from Coretta Scott King. Now, Mitch McConnell said those words that women have put on t-shirts, have embroidered on pillows, and have had tattooed on their bodies. Nevertheless, she persisted. Now, there are a lot of people right now who are worried that this fight against Donald Trump may not be winnable, but I've been winning unwinnable fights pretty much all my life. Won the fight to get a consumer agency to keep banks from cheating people. Go CFPB. Won the fight to hold corporate executives responsible. Yes, I'm looking at you, CEO of Wells Fargo, who got fired. And won the fight to take back a Senate seat from a popular incumbent Republican, bye-bye Scott Brown. Even so, there are a lot of people who talk about what races aren't winnable or what kind of people can't win. The way I see it, they're going to keep saying that right up until we get in the fight, we persist, and we win. Now, it's been 3 long years of Donald Trump, and a lot of people around this country are afraid. They're afraid for their families and afraid for their neighbors. They're afraid for children locked in cages down at our border, afraid for children in lockdowns in our public schools, afraid for women, afraid for people of color, afraid for LGBTQ people, afraid for trans people, all of whose rights are up for grabs in this Supreme Court, afraid for our country and afraid for our planet. And the danger is real. Our democracy hangs in the balance. So it's up to you. New Hampshire, it's going to be up to you. What do you do at this moment? Do you back up? Do you lean back or do you get in the fight? Me, I'm getting in the fight. I'm fighting back. Because fighting back is an act of patriotism. We fought back against a king to build this country. We fought back against the scourge of slavery to protect this union. We fought back against a Great Depression to rebuild our economy, and we fought back against fascism to protect our democracy. Americans are at their best when they see a problem and they fight back. That's who we are. This is not a time for small ideas. This is not a time to nibble around the edges of problems. This is not a time to be vague and elusive. This is a time to step up and when we see a big problem, offer a big solution and fight for it. Now, I'm not running a race that has been shaped by a bunch of consultants. I'm not offering a bunch of proposals that have been carefully designed not to offend big donors. I passed that stop sign a long time ago. I'm running a race based on a lifetime of fighting for working families. I'm running a race from the heart. I'm running a race because I believe in you, and I believe in what we can build together. I believe we can build an America in which every person has value. We can build an America in which every child is worth investing in. We can build an America with a democracy where people, not money, are the most important things. I believe in that America. And if you believe that that America is possible, and you believe that America is worth fighting for, then I'm asking you, get in this fight. Join me. Vote for me on Tuesday. Go to ElizabethWarren.com. Pitch in $5, volunteer. But be part of this fight. Because understand, this moment in history comes to us. And this moment in history will not come our way again. You will decide the direction of our country, not for 4 years, not for 8 years, but for generations to come. This is our moment. This is our moment to choose hope over fear. This is our moment to dream big, fight hard, and win. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me begin by congratulating the New Hampshire Democratic Party as your neighbor across the river. I have been excited to see that over the years you have elected 2 Democratic U.S. senators, 2 Democratic U.S. members of Congress, and now it's time to elect a Democratic governor. And I look forward to working with you to make sure that Senator Shaheen is re-elected. Now, I know that there are differences of opinion in the room. I detect that. I sense that. I see more enthusiasm here than over there. All right. Thank you. But what I wanted to say is that despite the differences of opinion and the candidates that we are supporting, I know that I speak for every candidate, is that no matter who wins the Democratic nomination, we are going to come together to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country. Senators Shaheen and Hassan and I sat through the impeachment process, and I was stunned that there was only one Republican who had the conscience and the morality to vote to impeach this corrupt president who has contempt for Congress, the Constitution, and separation of powers. And I wanted to say that our campaign is off to a great start. We are pleased, we are excited that we won in Iowa the popular vote by 6,000 votes, 6,000. And we won the realignment vote by 2,500. And I am absolutely confident that with the volunteer support that we have, we're going to win here in New Hampshire as well. And I want to thank the people of New Hampshire for playing an extraordinarily important role in moving this country forward in a progressive way. 4 years ago, when I was here campaigning, many of the ideas that we talked about, raising the minimum wage to a living wage of $15 an hour, those ideas then were considered radical. You know what? They're not radical today. 7 states have passed a $15 an hour minimum wage. Four years ago, we talked about making public colleges and universities tuition-free, and canceling student debt. Radical then, not so radical today. All over the country, states and cities and counties are moving in that direction. 4 years ago, we said that health care is a human right, not a privilege. That there is something wrong when we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. 4 years ago, we talked about climate change being a global crisis. And 4 years ago, when those ideas seemed radical, the people of New Hampshire, with great courage, said, no, these are not radical ideas. These are the ideas that the United States of America, the working class of this country, need. So I want to thank New Hampshire. I want to thank New Hampshire for helping to lead the political revolution that began 4 years ago, and now is the time to complete that revolution. Now is the time for us to come together to end the divisiveness, the racism, the lying, the homophobia, the xenophobia, the religious bigotry of the Trump administration. And now is the time, not only to defeat Donald Trump, but to transform this country and create a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. That's what this campaign is about, and I thank you all very much.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Governor Deval Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you, New Hampshire Democrats. Thank you so much. Well, good evening, everybody. It does seem that we can all agree that we have an unfit and unkind president. I saw a sign, a lawn sign out in front of a house in Concord that read, "Any functioning adult 2020." I understand the sentiment, but having talked to thousands, tens of thousands of people all over New Hampshire and all over the country, I'm persuaded that replacing President Trump is in fact not enough. See, the cheery economic indicators we keep hearing about don't tell the whole story. Unemployment is low so long as you count both or all three of the minimum wage jobs people have just to survive. Inflation is low as long as you don't count the cost of health care or housing or education, the very things that make it possible for people to lift themselves and move forward. You know and I do that in small towns and rural communities, young people are moving away to make a way. In more than a few suburbs, folks are using credit cards and the food pantry just to make ends meet. Young people all over trapped either by student debt or a criminal record. See, it is true that a president who demeans the vulnerable, who cages children, who wakes up every day trying to divide us makes it worse. But it was true before President Trump that the poor were stuck in poverty and the middle class were just a paycheck or two away from being poor. And those are the people who are asking themselves today questions not just about the character of the candidates or the parties, but about the character of our country. They are asking whether there is a place for them in America's future. And it is the same question asked for generations in the neighborhood I grew up in. On the south side of Chicago, in poverty, we were surrounded by broken sidewalks, broken schools, broken families. And yet those people who had no reason to gave me a reason to have faith in the American dream. And with that faith, I had a chance to go to college and law school to serve as a civil rights lawyer, as a civil rights leader, as a business executive and a business founder, and a two-term governor of Massachusetts. And that work, see, I didn't discover injustice just lately. I lived it. I fought against it and I won. I understand the nagging insecurities and unfairness that people are feeling all over America today. And I understand how unseen and unheard they are. And we need to answer them, not with a proposal to just get even, but with a proposal to get better, to be better. I see the people behind the policies, the voices I hear over the applause lines. That's what we have to do. We have to see the people we serve or seek to serve. And because we did, I'm proud of the fact that after 8 years, the children of Massachusetts rank as high as you can get in America in student achievement, that 99% of the people of Massachusetts have health care today, that the coal plants in Massachusetts are closed, the energy is cleaner, and we reached the goals of the Paris Accords 6 years ago. I'm proud of the fact that we came out of recession at a 25-year employment high. Why? Because we see the people we serve. We hear their voices above the applause lines. And that's what we have to be about. We also have to reject false choices. I am a proud Democrat. But I don't think you have to hate Republicans to be a good Democrat. I don't think you have to hate business to be a social justice warrior. I don't think you have to hate police to believe Black Lives Matter, reject false choices? How about we set aside the trafficking and thresholds and start making room in our plans and in our hearts for the woke and the still waking? And how about we also start trusting the American people? All of them. They are ready. They are ready for a progressive agenda that speaks to them. If we will make room for them and answer the question about the character of the country. And I'll tell you why I know they're ready. At the end of my second term, we were dealing with a crisis at the southern border very like the one today, with thousands of unaccompanied children fleeing violence in Central America, flooding across our borders. And the federal authorities were overwhelmed then, just as they are today. And President Obama asked a number of governors if we would shelter those children while they were being processed as refugees, and I agreed. And I explained my decision. I explained my decision as coming from a place of both patriotism and faith. But even so, on social media, I was called everything but a child of God. A couple of days after that decision was announced, I was running errands at the local Home Depot. And I was confronted by a very angry man in the checkout line who shouted at me. He said, "Governor, I think your decision was wrong." He said, "My own wife came here as a legal immigrant. And that's the way it ought to be, and I just think you ought to know, I think you're wrong." I thanked him for his feedback. Now, I had 6 other encounters in that store that same day on the same subject. And in each of those, someone whispered, "Governor, you're doing the right thing. Governor, thanks for looking out for those kids." The calls to the office were 2 and 3 to 1 in favor of sheltering those children. And it occurred to me, my friends, that we have learned to shout our anger and to whisper our kindness, and it's completely upside down. We need to learn again to shout kindness, to shout compassion, to shout justice. That is the answer to the question about the American character. That is who we are. If that's the kind of leadership you want someone who reminds you to shout justice, I am your guy, and I ask for your help and your vote. Thank you, New Hampshire, and good night.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage U.S. Senator Michael Bennet.
Hello, New Hampshire. Thank you. For those who have hung around, thank you for hanging around. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I have spent more time in New Hampshire than any other candidate for president in this election. And today, I had my 50th town hall in the last 10 weeks in New Hampshire. I've started to run out of places to go, and that's why tomorrow I'm going to make my way to Dixfield Notch in the North Country. And I want to tell you one thing that you already know, but the United States Senate has a 9% approval rating. A 9% approval rating. I once took a chart to the floor of the Senate and I asked, you know, what else has a 9% approval rating? And nobody else does. The IRS has a 40% approval rating. Paris Hilton had a 15% approval rating. More people want this country to be a communist country, 11%, than approve of the Senate. And Fidel Castro has a 5% approval rating. But I'll tell you this, if we just had a few more senators like Jeannie Shaheen and Maggie Hassan, we'd have a 90% approval rating, not a 9% approval rating. If any of you have been to one of my town halls, you know I start them by saying, I will take every question and I will take any criticism. And I say to people, ask me the questions you wouldn't ask another politician because you might be worried that you'd hurt their feelings. I tell them I was an urban school superintendent for years. You can't hurt my feelings. They've been beaten out of me a long time ago. And over the last few weeks, we have had a very candid conversation here in New Hampshire, and you've asked all of us two important questions. One is, how are you going to beat Donald Trump? That's an important question. But the other question you've asked each of us is equally important. And that question is, how are you going to get anything done back there? How are you going to get anything done? And that's the right question to ask because our government is immobilized. Our government is broken. And it's not by accident. It has been broken by the ideological ambition of the Freedom Caucus. It has been broken by the cynicism of Mitch McConnell. And it has been broken by the incompetence of Donald Trump. And I tell people all the time, I wouldn't want anybody I know to be as cynical or malevolent as Mitch McConnell. But I do think it's high time that we were as strategic as Mitch McConnell. And let me give you a hint from yesterday's newspaper. Mitch McConnell was taking a victory lap from his cover-up of the president's misdeeds in Washington. He was taking a victory lap from the inability of the Senate to hear witnesses and documents that were literally pounding on the doors of outside the Capitol. We're too busy to hear that, the Senate said. A Senate that voted on 26 amendments last year. A Senate that passed 8 amendments last year, because that's what the Freedom Caucus wants. That's what Mitch McConnell wants. As long as he's putting right-wing judges on the court and cutting the taxes of rich people every now and then, he's getting what he wants. That is what he wants. This is his end state. And yesterday in the newspaper, what he said was, I didn't hold back witnesses. I didn't hold back documents. They didn't have the votes. He said they, the Democrats, didn't have the votes. And then he said they need to go out and win more elections because they don't have the votes. I hate to say it, but guess what? Mitch McConnell is right. We need to go out and win more elections. That's what we have to do. Because otherwise these ideas don't matter that you've heard tonight. Otherwise these ideas are just bumper stickers or ways of raising money online. And that's not good enough. We have to win elections. And we have to win elections in purple states. I am the only candidate in this race who's won 2 national elections in a purple state. And that's different. That's different than running in the blessed Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's different than running in Vermont. It's different than running in California. And I am running on an agenda that can unify the American people and allow us to win in these purple states. It's called the Real Deal, and it is progressive, and it addresses directly the needs of our middle class and people who are trying to get into the middle class. Let me tell you, before I was a candidate for this job and before I was in the Senate, I was the superintendent of the Denver Public Schools. 95,000 kids. Thank you. Thank you, you Warren people. Thank you. Thank you. 95,000 kids, most of whom are kids in poverty, most of whom are kids of color, and their parents aren't coming to my town halls because they're working 2 and 3 jobs. And you know what they would say if they came? They'd say, Michael, we are killing ourselves, and no matter what we do, we can't get our kids out of poverty. And if we don't win elections, we can't do anything about that. And our kids can't fix their own schools. Our kids can't fix our broken immigration system. Our kids can't fix climate change. Our kids can't change our tax code so work pays again in this country. That's the work we have to do. That's why we cannot lose. That's why Donald Trump needs to be a one-term president. I'm asking for your help on Tuesday. I can beat Donald Trump and win the Senate back. We'll win 55 seats in the United States Senate. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
New Hampshire Democrats, please welcome to the stage Congresswoman Tulsi.
New Hampshire. Aloha. How you guys doing? Hey, I want to say thank you to Chairman Buckley, the entire crew who's made this evening possible, especially because they had the wisdom to save the best for last. The thing that brings all of you here tonight is you want to know which of us as candidates will best be able to defeat Trump. I'm here tonight to tell you why I am that candidate. The American people are sick and tired of how divided our country has become. They want a president who will actually be able to bring people together, to be able to heal the divides in this country. I am that candidate. I will be that president because we are already building that coalition of support, bringing Americans from all across party lines, putting the well-being of our country first. The American people, they are sick and tired of leaders in Washington who are putting their own selfish interests ahead of the interests of the people. They want a president who will put their well-being first, ahead of partisan politics, ahead of profits, ahead of selfish interests. I am that candidate. I've dedicated my entire adult life to serving the American people. The American people are looking for a fresh, new generation of leadership. As a 38-year-old millennial, I qualify for that. Bringing a fresh perspective, bringing a fresh approach to solving the age-old challenges that we face in this country. But the American people also want experience. Experience to know that this person will be best prepared to walk in on day one to fulfill that most important responsibility as Commander-in-Chief. And experience to know that this person will be able to work with Congress, to be able to cross party lines, to be able to work with leaders in both parties to actually solve problems for the American people. I am that person because I have both. I've been serving now in Congress for 7 going on 8 years, very focused on our nation's national security and foreign policy, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, on the Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees. I've also been serving as a soldier. I'm a major currently in the Army National Guard, serving now for almost 17 years. And I've deployed twice to the Middle East, where I've understood and experienced firsthand the terribly high human cost of war. I bring the combination of this experience, which is more experience in national security and foreign policy than most of the other presidential candidates combined, to be prepared to walk in on day one and serve you as your Commander-in-Chief. So the choice is ours. The choice is ours to usher in a fresh new era where our White House can once again be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, a beacon of opportunity. My personal commitment to every single one of you is to bring a soldier's values to the White House, these values of honor and respect, integrity and service, putting the well-being and the interests of the American people first. This is the change that we together seek to bring about for our country. So if you are ready to deliver a defeat to Donald Trump in November of this year and to usher in a victory for the American people, then I invite you to stand with me. If you are ready to usher in a bright future for every single American, a future that ensures freedom, respect, and true equality for all Americans, I invite you to stand with me. Because we know that when we as Americans stand together, healing our divides, working side by side, we can truly accomplish anything. As voters here in New Hampshire, the choice is before you. I invite you to stand with me so that we can defeat Trump in November of this year. Turn out our votes on Tuesday here in Election Day. Don't just bring yourselves, bring 5 friends with you, and let's send a message to the nation about what New Hampshire voters stand for and the kind of change you would like to see in our country. Thank you all so much. It's wonderful to see you all here tonight. Aloha. Aloha.
If we walk hand in hand, Hampshire Democratic Party staff for everything that they accomplished tonight and made sure that everyone had a great time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what are we going to do on Tuesday? What are we going to do on Tuesday? Great. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing to elect incredible Democrats. We look forward to seeing you at the polls. We look forward to seeing you on the doors. Go get them. Thank you and have a good night.